Super awesome theme song.
What's that from? I swear that's from something.
That is fucking hell if I know.
I don't know, it sounds familiar. Anyway, hello viewers, welcome to a new installment of us talking over a video game that's kind of popular. Welcome to Darkest Dungeon. Early access game still, I believe, that's incredibly YouTube foddery and popular. So, you know, maybe everyone will come to my channel now.
I have so many viewers. Maybe it'll go up from like 50 to 200.
I'm not even gonna try and imitate that voice. I can't pretend that I'm 13 anymore. Yeah, I played this for a while, 27 weeks. I've only had, what, 13 casualties. But considering how royally fucked I am in that file, I think we're gonna start a new one.
Alright.
What should we call our town?
Achoo! Achoo.
Achoo.
Alright.
Let's get to this.
Son of a sneeze.
Fucking early access cutscenes and they're chugging.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside.
This is pretty much our plot so far.
Wait, Darkest Dungeon has a plot?
Evermore
Yeah.
places.
This cutscene's chugging like a bunch of dicks, so I'll sum it up. Early access, right? Anyway, so the basic summary of this game is we've come to our hamlet, which has been abandoned for something like 20 years, something like that, after being corrupted by a whole bunch of horrifying monstrosities.
Okay then.
And now we're here to reclaim it. More or less. That is our goal.
Okay then.
And we'll do that by killing so many different kinds of people, it wouldn't even be funny.
This sounds like a cheery game.
This game is in no way cheery.
Is it loading?
Yeah, it's loading. It's an early access game. So there's loading times that are horrible.
Is it like Bloodborne loading times?
I haven't played Bloodborne, but I heard they're pretty bad.
Yeah. It's like the saltiest kind of wound. You sit there, you're walking around, then something just randomly kills you, and you have to sit there in silent rage for about 2 minutes while the game loads. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. So here's our plot. Our wagon has crashed, and we're now out in the middle of the road with these two random guys. I need a Reynold and Dismas.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Yeah. Tutorial
Hey,
stuff.
brigands.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion.
So now we have to kill him.
Hear of your arrival.
Kill the
Dead.
brigands.
Miss your eyes. That's kind of harsh.
This expedition at least promises success.
So anyway, the game also consists of this, linearly moving to the right from room to room to room, and picking up shit you find along the way and killing people.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Seems pretty simple.
Yep.
Ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Ouchie, guns.
Yep, guns. And whips.
Oh, these guys are just rude.
Yep. Oh, nice job doing less than your minimum damage. That's fine.
How do you do less than your minimum?
I don't know.
Roll the 1 on your attack die or something.
Yeah. There we go. Maximum damage.
Does not dissuade
Haha.
the sharpened blade.
Die.
Yes. Yeah, but once we get through this annoying little tutorial bit, then I'll run through what's going on in the town. Since Jeff's never played this before.
Confidence
No, but it
surges
seems
as the enemy
pretty
crumbles.
fun, so I was thinking of picking it up.
Yeah, it's got its bits. It's a bit expensive for what it is, though.
How much was this?
I think it was like 15 bucks.
I wouldn't say it's that expensive.
Yeah. And again, it still is an early access, so it's got its problems.
Ah. I'm not a huge fan of the whole early access idea. I'd rather have my games
Done?
done, yeah.
Well, I agree with
Before I
you.
pay
Most
for
early
them.
access games are shit. But there are a few exceptions. This being one of them. I would say this game is at mostly done. It's fully playable and rarely glitches or fucks up.
Yeah.
Although it is a bit brutally hard. I know that's the point, but it's hard to the point of being annoying.
Welcome home.
And there's just
Such
like
as it is.
DayZ early access.
This squalid
That
hamlet,
one's just...
these
I kind of
corrupted
feel like I'm
lands,
wasting money on that.
they are yours now.
Feels like, yeah,
And you are bound
total
to them.
letdown.
So here's what we
They got
got.
their money and then stopped caring about their game.
Here's what we got. We have a blacksmith, a guild, abbey, sanitarium, tavern, survivalist tent, a stagecoach, this tree thing that does nothing,
Tree thing that does nothing.
and a nomad wagon, and a graveyard.
Alrighty then.
You can hire more random custom from here.
Soldiers and outlaws. Fools
This guy
and
and
corpses.
this chick.
All will
There,
find
we
their
have a
way
full
to
party
us
now.
that the road is clear.
I could assume having more people is probably helpful.
Yeah,
Most will end up here,
he smiles in the graveyard. That's weird to me.
awaiting merciful oblivion.
And you have to reduce your character's stresses over time, because if they get too stressed, they go either butt fucking sane or they get really, really heroic. Usually butt fucking sane.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's pretty much your lot. And then the Achu estate with Reynold, Dismas, Verond, and Rain Bemwarcourt.
The fuck?
I think that's what that says.
That is
Are going on
rather-
an adventure to the
I know
ruins.
of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
Your work begins, narrator.
Oh, narrations.
The usual suspects. Oh, there's even party names now. That was new. I wasn't there when I first started this game.
The cost of preparedness, measured now
And now you gotta buy food. Make sure your party doesn't end up starving to death.
in blood.
You gotta bring torches unless you want your whole party to be surprised every other 5 steps. And you should always bring a shovel in case you have a wall to clear.
Indeed.
Problem is, once you go on a mission, all those things are garbage, whether or not you use them at the end.
Wow.
Food, I can understand. Torches and shovel, not so much. I think those should be carried over.
No, they just decide at the end of their journey they're just gonna throw everything on the floor at the end, last
throw it
room
out.
and just be,
Fuck it.
fuck it, we don't need this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot to talk about this game, really, except as you complete missions in these areas, the ruins, the weld, and another place that I haven't been to yet,
Better place to begin.
the more missions you complete, the sooner you can unlock the boss, one of the bosses of the area. I've only managed to kill one boss in my main file, the Apprentice Necromancer, and I've unlocked the actual Necromancer and the Old Hag. I can't beat either of them. I've lost like 15 fighters to both. It's not fun. That's your lot, pretty much. You keep doing that until you kill everybody, I assume. There's 2 dungeons that haven't been unlocked yet. The Darkest Dungeon, name drop in the title like it ain't no thing. And one more that I can't remember. It was on the screen before. If you really care that much, you can just go back and check. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you gotta keep your light up, because if you have really bright, it's easier to scout and shit. You guys got surprised at Radiant Light? Come on. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got here. Not too complex,
Executed with impunity.
like most indie games.
Well, yeah, I don't really like my games overly complex anyway.
I like it when a game is complex, but I feel that it has to work harder to actually sell itself to me. You know what I mean?
Confidence surges.
Like Civilization 5, for instance. That game does some pretty complex stuff.
No.
As the fiend falls, a faint
But
hope
yeah,
blossoms.
I think we more or less covered everything about this game. Want to move on to topics?
Sure.
Alright, start with the first one that I think is weirdly interesting. So, oh, it's random, sweet. So, me and Jeff last night, we recorded shit before this, but it didn't survive the record. it was kind of like, so we went, ah, fuck. So we had to do it the next day. It was already pretty late. So we ordered some pizza that night. Waited outside for an hour for it to show up. It didn't. And then we stayed up like 4 in the morning playing some games and shit.
It was like 4 in the morning. It was 4 in the morning. We were playing
4 in the
Halo
morning.
3 until 4 in the morning.
We didn't have much else to do. And I didn't feel like recording again that day.
I'm like super hungry because pizza never showed up.
Yeah, we walked around outside for 2 hours trying to find something that was open. We couldn't. Anyway, besides that, pizza never showed up. We went to bed, woke up the next day, and at 11:30 this morning, pizza shows up. So we had pizza that I ordered 12 hours earlier for breakfast. That was mildly interesting.
Yeah.
But upon reflection, it really has no topic value whatsoever, because no one really cares but us.
No, not really, but I mean, hey. Surprise pizza, I guess.
Yeah, woken up to fresh pizza in the morning with chicken wings. Not what I wanted for breakfast, but I'll take it.
I'll eat anything for breakfast.
How many times are you gonna dodge that guy?
As many times as he damn well pleases.
Jeez, those are way too long.
This expedition at least promises success.
So yeah, that topic went fucking nowhere. Yeah, I got
Really not too much to discuss on the topic of pizza that was late.
12 hours late. That's what I find to be the interesting bit.
Yeah.
But here, I got actual topics written down just for this occasion. Let's see, where's the paper? There it is. So here's the first one I looked up on the internet, some gaming news stuff, because I figured since we do games and shit and we spend all of our time talking, I figured we could discuss gaming news stories and such.
Woohoo!
So I went onto The Escapist, the website, magazine, all that crap. Really, guys? Come on. Anyway,
Right.
went up and did all that stuff, and I decided to look up a few of the things they got going on this week. First one I stumbled upon that I thought me and Jeff would at least be mildly interested in is Wii U Zelda delayed and no 2015 E3 preview. Possible release in late 2013. What are your thoughts on that?
2013.
2016.
So 2 years ago?
2016, sorry.
Okay. Perfectly honest, I don't much care. I mean, it's kind of annoying that it doesn't meet their deadline, but I'd prefer that games be done before they're released.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the article said when they were quoting one of the development team guys. They said, we don't want to be focused on the deadline, we just want to get this done properly. Make it the best Zelda ever, which they probably won't be.
Like, I'd certainly be disappointed if it isn't, like, really good after having a delay of, like, about a year and a bit now. But, honestly, I'd just rather let a company take their time with their project than have them release something that's not even close to being finished.
Yeah, fair enough. But, more specifically, since it's not having an E3 preview, it's kind of a tangent on the topic, but what do you think of E3 in general?
In general, is really not much to think about. It's just a chance for companies to preview their games, get, like, potential customers or whatever hyped for their product that comes out.
Well, yeah, that's what it does. What do you think of it?
Seems to rather often end up, I suppose, tricking a few people, having these E3 previews on high-end gaming PCs that aren't going to look anything like what's going to end up being on a home console or something else, but as long as you take everything that people say with a grain of salt, should be just fine.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of E3 anymore myself. I used to keep up with it a lot when I was younger. It's just kind of... I've looked at it with all the disasters and fiascos of games we put out recently, like the Aliens Colonial Marines fiasco, Ride to Hell Retribution. Don't get me started on that. How can that game even exist? And a couple other really disingenuous things they do with their trailers, like Assassin's Creed Unity. Ugh, the game was horrible. But everything I see at E3 in recent years has kind of made me just kind of go, ugh.
No, I've never bothered actually keeping up with E3. Like, if I want to look at something that's coming up, it's usually Nintendo's games that I like to look at because they're really one of the only game companies right now that I can feel I can trust. Like, Bungie fucked up with Destiny, DICE is fucking up with Battlefield, is...
Well, realistically, you might as well blame EA for DICE's things. You might as well.
Well, EA in general has just gone completely downhill.
Well, that's been going on for years. I look at Sims 3 or The Sims 4 or SimCity. Fucking shit games.
Yeah.
With nothing redeeming about them. I played The Sims 4. I never fucking bought it. My sister did. I let her have me give a shot at it because I was curious on if it was actually remotely better than Sims 3. Everything about it was worse.
Yeah,
It's literally everything.
disappointing.
Not even disappointing, it's flat out just wrong. Sequels should have more shit, not less. Because, you know, use a sequel to a game to, you know, build on it. Add new shit, play with new ideas, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Not, let's put out another thing that people like, but instead of putting out the thing that people like, we'll put out a massively cut down version of it.
Dazed, reeling, about to break.
Ah, fucking stress. But yeah, E3 and all that shit, I just kind of want it to end because you really can't trust any gameplay trailers or any pre-rendered trailers or any of it. Because none of it represents what the game is whatsoever.
So too will resistance.
Yeah.
Down in this dungeon.
More bones return to rest. Devils
Yeah.
relented to their abyss.
Yeah, most of the AAA developers are going to be showing up at E3, and it's a very select few of them that I would actually trust would, like, put out a game anything like what they're showing on screen there.
Yep. Yay, bonus perks. Yeah. Shame that Wii U Zelda got pushed back to 2016 at the very earliest, so that kind of sucks.
I can still see
I just
their
kind of
angry
put it out of
faces
my
as they
mind. I
stormed
wasn't
the
even
manor. But I
thinking
was dead
about
before they
when it
found
was
me.
going to be coming out, because it was
And the
actually
letter
supposed to
was
be
on its
coming
way.
out sometime roughly around now. Was
Well, it's supposed to
their
come out later
initial-
this year, apparently.
Was it?
Yeah,
I,
late this year.
I think their
Those with a
first
keen eye. Gold
plan
gleams
was for
like a
early
dagger's point.
2015.
Oh,
but
probably,
then they
but
pushed
first
it
plans
back.
never work.
Yeah.
Fresh kegs, cards, and
I
curtained rooms
usually just
promise
tend to
solace
forget
to the
about
weary and broken alike.
games I'm waiting for, that way I don't feel like I'm waiting a century.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a similar boat.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the
I'd be
faithful.
interested to see what they end up doing when they release their Nintendo Direct that usually comes around E3.
No, probably.
Because Nintendo actually never does anything for E3. They'll sometimes
Well, they'll
show-
have their own little presentation,
Yeah.
but it's never a big thing compared to Microsoft or Sony's.
No, they'll probably show off some, like, small projects they're working on, but they always do their bigger stuff in Nintendo Direct.
Nintendo Direct's better anyway.
It really is. I'd have to sit there and wait for them to show up halfway through E3 presentations and to see what I want.
Yeah. I really hope they do some interesting stuff with the new Zelda, though. I really do. We've had this discussion before, but I think there's a lot of potential in a new Zelda if they take it in the right directions.
Yep. From what I saw with some of the stuff they were doing, it seemed pretty interesting. It had a very open world sort of aspect.
Well, to be fair, Zelda's always kind of had an open worldy thing to it. You can't go anywhere from the world go, but you can slowly unlock a rather big world to go through.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest world in Zelda to date was Wind Waker, but that was just
that was only, it was only so
sea.
big because there was so much nothing they had.
Yeah. Whereas this one seems to actually have places you might want to explore.
There's plenty of reason to explore the Wind Waker places. Lots of hidden secrets and shit. A lot of it's required. I would say Wind Waker is one of the better Zeldas.
I liked it. I just wasn't a huge fan of how much distance between islands there were.
Well, the sailing really only got a little bit old towards the end. But it is one of the few games out there that I would say is actually accurate to the term epic.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His
Damn it.
efficacy unwitnessed by his
Because it actually gives us a really epic scale, because there's a giant world with no loading screens whatsoever. Unless you count going into houses and stuff. That's like a black screen for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, having no loading screens
Even
is
the
definitely
cold
nice.
stone seems bent on preventing passage.
Can you change your equipment in this game?
Yeah, but not yet. It's not really change, it's more just upgrade. You can get trinkets that provide bonuses and negative effects to different characters. I never really use them though. Come on! Yeah, stick the mage right in front. Fucking healer.
Reeling, about to break.
Just retreat. Yeah, but yeah.
Alright, do we have any other topics?
Plenty of other topics, but you should look up some next time. I can't be affording to bring in all of these.
I'll try to remember for next week.
Well, it's only a week, and it's not that hard. Yeah. So my next topic after that was new Star Wars Battlefront being released by EA. Will it be shit and covered in microtransactions?
Press disadvantage.
I'm gonna go ahead with yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not really a topic. The answer is obvious.
I really don't want it to be, because I love the ever-loving hell out of Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I never really played it.
Played the multiplayer on that for hours. It's just so much fun, but nah, it just, but the way that EA and DICE have been rolling for last while, I can only assume that it's going to keep with the trend and end up fucking up again.
Yeah, I know how much people like Battlefront games, and I found myself really hitting a realization of, after I watched the trailer for it, I really hit this realization of, I don't expect this to be good at all. I really just thought this is probably gonna be shit for some reason because EA is gonna fuck something up, or someone's gonna fuck something up somewhere. It's gonna be covered in microtransactions. It's already got I've already seen enough ads on YouTube for it to pre-order now and get the free DLC based off the new movie coming out too.
That also pisses me off, all these ridiculous pre-order bonuses to rake in money.
Yes, pre-ordering doesn't help the customer at all. It's really easy to buy a game digitally because there's infinite copies. Or if you really want a physical one, I can guarantee you're willing to put in an hour or two searching at a couple stores, you'll find it no matter how popular it is.
Yep.
The most popular game in the world, you'd still find a copy.
Yep. No, Ever been a huge fan of pre-orders?
Yeah, but I've never really done it myself.
These pre-order bonuses honestly aren't even all that great. They make them seem like there's something special and end up breaking you in by making it something you can only obtain by pre-ordering. It's just really scummy.
Ah, fucking hell. Dig for it.
Without tools of iron, you must rely on flesh.
Great. Mental breakdowns right in the horizon.
That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah. And I totally wasted my effort going this way. Yeah, well, speaking of pre-ordering and shit like that, leads us neatly into our next topic. Unless you had more to talk about on Battlefront.
No, not really.
We gotta really drag these out more. We've been talking for only 20 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah, we started this 20 minutes ago. So, you know, you got anything else to talk about before we burn through my last two topics?
Oh, really? What else is there to talk about other than the fact that it basically looks like a Battlefield game with a Star Wars skin?
Well, not just that, I meant anything. I don't want to run into topics before we even get halfway through this.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not much else to talk about.
Shit.
Maybe we can drag out a different topic.
Well, I suppose we move on to the next one. Then maybe that'll work out better. Alright, my third and second last topic already. Damn it. Witcher 3 release date confirmed. Digital downloaders will be able to play the game earlier and for less. Thoughts and opinions? Bear in mind, the digital downloaders appear, as far as the article I read, appear to only be on the Xbone and the PS4.
Well, it somewhat makes sense that would be cheaper because, you know,
well, I've always
cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly, guys.
Packaging, everything.
Exactly.
It should be cheaper.
Yeah, because the $60 price point on games digitally is completely arbitrary because it doesn't cost that much.
No,
not even close.
Literally just uploading the file is.
Yeah. There's no manufacturing costs, no delivery costs, nothing. It's just there.
Yep.
At worst, you gotta pay Steam.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's really the. I always
Really? Again?
believed that digital download should be cheaper. It kind of ticked me off anytime I decided to download something and ended up being either more expensive than a copy I could find in a store somewhere or whatnot, but playing it earlier seems kind of
odd.
Yeah.
It's not that much earlier, to be fair. It's merely a couple of hours, but...
Oh, a couple of hours, yeah, then.
Yeah.
I really don't care about that too much. I'm pretty sure games have been doing that for quite a while.
Well, I've never actually seen anything like that before, where the game is literally released earlier on digital download.
I know that Wind Waker on the Wii U was released, I think a week earlier if you bought it on digitally, as opposed to a physical copy. You're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah? Now she's masochistic.
Hooray!
Yeah, I know she's afflicted, thanks. And now she just marked herself. That's always fun. But yeah, bit weird that they released it earlier and stuff like that for Witcher 3.
Never been a huge fan of the Witcher games anyways.
Oh, yeah, we've already discussed that before. Who's next? Selfish.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
Fearful. The only one who isn't breaking down is the fucking bounty hunter. He's only dying.
Hooray.
Ugh. Nice. Death's door.
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire.
I know they're a death's door. Thank you.
You need to pick some topics that are actually worth talking about, man.
Well, maybe you should have actually looked up some. It's really not that hard.
Give me all the time in the world, but if I don't know I'm supposed to be fucking
It's
picking up topics.
It was literally in the last record.
I was probably dead tired, not giving a fuck by that time.
Well, you should give a fuck. You're doing a project, might as well inject a little pride into it.
Nothing I do is prideful.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Well, maybe that's because you actually put any pride into things you do. Anyway, so the last topic that'll be slightly more fruitful, I think.
A hand's breadth from becoming
What old game would we like to see get a modern facelift and updates to its engine and such like that?
A big one for me is Crash Bandicoot. I fucking love those games.
Typical.
I just remember
Damn it!
talking about it with a tri-stand earlier.
How
Actually.
quickly the tide turns.
I gotta be early. I haven't even seen Tri-Stand in years. Months, really.
It's been a while for me too, but I see him on occasion. But no, I've always loved that game. It's very iconic platformer. I don't know why Naughty Dog hasn't done anything with it again.
Because they unrepeated the ridiculous success of Uncharted beat Crash Bandicoot into the dirt.
I suppose.
They
Never
made
played
way
it.
more money.
Uncharted game.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Neither have I. Didn't care for it. But Naughty Dog's probably just gonna make a Last of Us sequel. That's probably their next thing.
From what I heard, they not too sure. They're thinking of doing, I don't know, maybe keeping it in the same world or having different characters or something, but
Who cares? Last of Us was shit anyway.
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
How was it shit?
Look at that ending. Who the fuck would decide that's a good option? Seriously.
It was a good ending.
How was that a good ending? Yeah, I'm gonna doom all of humanity, but save one kid. Yeah. Smart. That's a great idea.
Well, the entire idea was that Joel isn't fucking perfect.
It's not about being perfect, it's about being logical. How is that even close to a logical move?
People aren't logical. That was a logical move because he didn't want to fucking lose Ellie.
Yeah, I can understand why he did it. Doesn't mean he still should have.
Well, thinking of that from like humanity's perspective, sure, but dude doesn't give a fuck. As far as he's concerned, he really can't lose much else.
So, condemn all humanity to death to save one person again. It's ridiculous. And how can this story be considered good if you really can't sympathize with any of the characters whatsoever?
I sympathize with the main character pretty well, as did the majority of people.
Oh, he's got vigorous, good for him.
Adversity
And which one do you consider the main character, Joel or Ellie then?
Joel. He's the player character.
Yeah, and I have no sympathy for him. The Last of Us more or less lost me at the 4-hour point. I was kind of like, yep, these characters are not very appealing at all. Plus, no one really had an arc in that. No one really did anything or changed even slightly.
Well,
at all.
no, because human nature, people don't typically change.
People change a lot.
Impunity.
People
Not
change
really.
all the time.
You've known me for the better part of 10 years. I haven't changed.
Yes, but I've known other people who have changed. I've changed a lot in 10 years.
Not really.
Yes, I have. Look at me a year ago. Do you think I'd be putting out videos and shit? Fuck no. I didn't think there was a point. Now I'm doing all this just because I can. People change a lot all the time, if you're willing to look at the differences. And besides, if there's no character arc in a story, how can it be considered at all interesting? If people don't develop and grow at all as things go on, how is it good?
It wasn't the people developing and growing, it was the relationship between the two of them.
Yeah, and even that,
Meshing.
even I think that was rather poorly handled. With all their time skips ahead through the seasons, that was just made it seem a bit disingenuous. Made us feel like they didn't want to actually bother writing any dialogue to actually show them growing closer together.
They can be beaten.
Well, because there's really no point in...
Instead, they just kind of say they're growing closer together because they've been traveling so much. They were supposed to accept that.
The only time skip I remember is when Joel was more or less unconscious due to blood loss and infection.
Are you not missing the rest of those? There was a time skip from when... There's a time skip from when they first pick up Ellie to winter. No, there's one to fall first, 'cause that's when you meet up with Joel's brother in that place. Then they skip to winter, where Joel gets stabbed. No, that's a little before that. After Joel gets stabbed, they skip to winter. Then they skip to spring again, where he actually saves Ellie from being cut open and turned into lab processed meat.
Mm-hmm. So,
Lots of time
they
skips.
cut to black after a dramatic scene where
Yeah,
the
where the
black
little-
guy kills himself,
Yeah.
because that was just an absolutely horrifying experience.
Really?
Who's lord of this place
I didn't get anything from that.
before the crows?
Yeah, it's
and
because you
rats
like to
make it
pretend you
their
have no
domain.
emotions.
I don't
Anyway,
pretend that, and I know I have emotions. They're just... I just don't let them get in the way of things. He was infected. It was the only logical move.
mm-hmm. Anyway, so he kills himself, and so they cut to
That is
black
more
because
glory than the blood-soaked
it's-
battlefield.
just a very dramatic moment, and stylistically it worked well. And
Not
it
really.
moves forward to the fall season because literally almost nothing happened at that point. There's nothing in between the point in the fall season and that moment that you missed.
Except for their whole developing relationship bit. They skipped over that entirely.
But the whole point is basically that they had been traveling in an awkward silence because Joel didn't want to talk about it.
But they'd never mention it again. Like, even remotely. Throughout the entire plot. They never once say, it's a shame that guy died. Or it's a shame that guy killed himself. Not even once.
Yeah, because Joel didn't want to talk about it. Neither of them wanted to talk about it. It was fucking dramatic.
I didn't find it that dramatic. I thought it was poorly handled.
Well, once again, you like to pretend you don't have emotions.
No, it's not that. It's just, I thought it was poorly handled. The guy kills his brother. And then he goes, oh god, what have I done? Then he's all like, Joel, you bastard, why did you let me do this? And Joel's like, now put the gun down. The guy's all like, eh, and then shoots himself. There was no hesitation. There was no thought in no thought process going through his head.
It was
whatsoever.
irrational. He just killed his brother. It was his only family.
And so he rather awkwardly and suddenly schizophrenically changed opinions and thoughts over the course of about 6 seconds before shooting himself in the head?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was poorly handled. No one has a mental breakdown like that so quickly and then so erratically like that. It's rather weird.
No, that seems like a pretty perfectly humane thing to do.
I don't think it worked. It just seemed off to me. Yeah, but if we're going to argue over zombie games actually have good relationships, I would argue that the Walking Dead Telltale games do it much better than Last of Us did.
I only played through like episode 1 of that, and honestly, my opinion of it wasn't too grand. I'm not a huge fan of the Telltale games. They're just kind of
Well, I've only really bought the Walking Dead ones.
like fancy point-and-click adventures.
Well, that's what they are. They're point-and-click adventure games, more or less. It's literally what they are. And I thought that worked well considering the circumstances. And I think that works much better with producing story focused on character rather than having a whole bunch of action sequences. Because with the whole Lee and Clementine, all the other peoples and their relationships and stuff, that actually seems more real and realistic. Like with Kenny when his kid gets infected. He doesn't have a mental breakdown and kills himself within 6 seconds.
I have no idea who those people were, so I
Well, in the plot, more or less, Kenny has a kid. He's got a big mustache. He's from South California, or something like that. Rather southern. Anyway, his kid gets infected. He ends up eventually having to shoot his own kid. And his wife kills him, and her wife kills himself right in front of him because her child's going to die. But he doesn't go into a weird mental breakdown for 6 seconds, blaming Lee for it and flipping out all over the place for it. He kills his kid, gets real upset about it, and then moves on.
Yeah, but his wife killed herself.
Yeah, same thing for that too. He got over it. He most accepted it and moved on. Because what else are you going to do when the world's ending?
See, that's just 2 different characters.
Yeah.
The idea is that
And how was
I don't even remember what his name was.
Yeah, exactly. What was his character? He didn't have one. Yeah, neither did the kid. They didn't have any personality whatsoever.
His name was Sam.
No, yeah, they remember the kid's name. He was
His
Sam.
name was Sam.
Yeah, you can't remember his brother's name. He didn't have a personality.
Oh no, because I played the game like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I played. Well, I more specifically watched a Let's Play of it because I don't own a PS3. I can't remember the guy's name. I finished that Let's Play less than 2 weeks ago. I don't know who he is.
Press this advantage. Give them no
Well, obviously because you didn't care for the game because you have bad taste.
How do I have bad taste? I didn't really hate the game. I just didn't find the game that good. It was at best average. It had its moments of good. Like the point where Joel has a sniper rifle and you have to keep everybody safe and covered. That was pretty good. And I thought the bit where Ellie was alone, captured by the cannibals, and had to escape by herself was pretty well done too. But a lot of it was just poorly handled.
See, and I argue that there wasn't, like, hardly any moment that was poorly handled.
I'd say a few are poorly handled. And there's a whole bunch of weird throwaway characters that don't serve any purpose in the plot whatsoever. Like the crazy paranoid guy you meet early on. He didn't do anything.
Crazy paranoid guy?
Lives alone and has all those bomb traps. And you have to, and he helps you fix up a car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't.
What other...
He didn't serve any purpose, like, whatsoever. He was there to help you fix a car, and that's the only thing he did.
So, there's a zombie apocalypse. What else was he going to do?
Well, it's just that he seemed like a mostly unnecessary character. Why was he even there?
Well, because Joel's character wouldn't know where to get a working car. It would not fit in Joel's character to suddenly know how to get a working car in a zombie apocalypse where there are no working cars.
There's plenty of working cars. I don't see how they couldn't have worked that into Joel's character that he knew how to fix a car. They skipped 30 years of his life.
I think they skipped 30 years. It was like 18 years.
Okay, whoop-de-doo. I made a random estimate. Still, 18 years is a long time. You probably learn how to fix a car on that.
But why would he learn to fix a car during those 18 years? During those 18 years, he was
smuggling
fighting for survival and smuggling, yes.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think one would learn how to fix a car during that time? Out of necessity? Like, I need to fix a car. Or he maybe there's in a rather relatively peacetime. Someone teach me how to fix a car. It needs to be explained. I had an old buddy of mine teach me how to fix cars. Done. Whole pointless character removed from the plot. No need for him.
That can be said about a whole lot of characters from a whole lot of games. Anything can be explained by simply having the main character just know everything because
Well, if a
of
character
reasons.
knows everything, then it doesn't work. But him knowing how to fix a car to get rid of a more or less useless character is not really disingenuous at all. It works.
Well, I added also in an element of showing what kind of thing the zombie apocalypse would do to people. Like, it made this guy stupid paranoid.
Well, it made everyone stupid paranoid.
Well, he was the only one who was just, like, beyond the point of normalcy of paranoid. Everyone else was just kind of rather...
Normally paranoid?
Not normally paranoid, but just cautious. He was straight up paranoid.
Yeah, yes. And another problem I have with Last of Us is that everyone seems a bit too willing to kill each other. Considering that all of humanity is on the verge of utter collapse, you'd think human life would carry a bit more value. Not the value of Joel killing quite literally over 100 enemies in one mission. The part where you're escaping from that bandit camp after you drive down after getting that car from the crazy guy.
Well, it's kill or be killed. If they're going to attack you, what other choice do you have?
Yeah, you kill literally over 100 guys.
And literally over 100 guys are trying to kill you.
Yes, but as I said before, why does no one put a little bit more effort into, preserving human life when, society is dying?
Well, they are trying to preserve human life. They're trying to preserve their life.
This is the bad way to go. Yeah, didn't really get that impression. Everyone's just kind of killing each other, like the soldiers versus the smugglers and all that other crap. Why are you killing each other? What is that accomplishing? You should all be fighting the zombies that are currently conquering the earth. That'd be a better target than each other.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
Another thing I dislike that Ellie had almost no personality either.
Ellie had tons of personality.
Not really. She was generic action girl at best who already knew how to handle a gun and all that other crap without the slightest bit of learning or anything.
She barely knew how to handle a gun. In fact,
You handed her a freaking sniper rifle and said, "Cover me while I go kill these people," and she did it fine.
No, he handed her a sniper rifle, went over some very
Basic stuff,
yeah.
And she said, "I'm already familiar with it." She knew how to handle that stuff. She didn't develop as a character whatsoever. She was just already generic action girl from beginning to end.
Wild places. She is a stalwart survivor and a strict instructor.
Don't know what you define as generic action girl, but
She's already competent, and she rarely ever flinches in the face of hardship. At all. Basically regards it all with grim determination.
definitely
there was no
flinching.
There was really no point where she ever seemed to really be in trouble, except the point where she was fighting the cannibals by herself. There was maybe that bit. Everything else, she more or less just kind of didn't react.
Well, she also grew up in an entirely different time. Her birth was after the date of the apocalypse. Everything was morally different.
Well, it's not about
She
morally
wasn't exactly,
Same.
uncomfortable with the thought of people dying.
Well, it's not about that. It's the fact that she doesn't really react at all.
Why would she? What's there to react to?
Well, it's a simple fact. You're in these tough situations where your life is in danger, and if you react to them with a ho hum another Tuesday, it's just gonna be just whatever.
She didn't react that way at all.
She acted like that a lot. She's like, "Oh crap, there's more guys. Jill, you gonna kill them all?" Yep.
Much more reaction involved in that, but
Not
once
really.
again, you watched a Let's Play. There was a whole lot of different dialogue you got
I
from
watched
actually
I
looking
watched
for
a
it.
7-hour Let's Play, and they covered all the dialogue.
A 7-hour Let's Play would not get through all the dialogue, not even close.
Oh, it got all the dialogue they had while they were walking around and through all the cutscenes. I think that covers it.
No.
Unless there were other bits. It's highly unlikely. They just skipped out on all the gameplay of him endlessly killing zombies and people. You're not fixed up yet. Yeah. Oh, the Necromancer Apprentice is already unlocked, huh? Oh, fight a boss, I suppose.
How much longer are we running this record for?
Another 15 to 20 minutes.
Why do you appear to have, like, infinite money?
I don't. I just spent like $3 grand.
You've made, like, hardly a dent in your fortune.
Considering it's 75 gold for food, it's pretty much expected. Not supposed to cost a whole lot to go on adventures like this.
What the hell else do you spend your money on?
Reducing people's stress and upgrading their equipment. That's where your money goes. It's like 1,500 gold to reduce one guy's stress. He spends an entire week in the brothel, or drinking ale, or praying in a church.
In the leg of a dead rat.
So yeah, it costs a lot more. So yeah, so our goal is to try and find the Necromancer. And I think we could probably end the record there, because we spent the entire time arguing over whether or not The Last of Us is a good game. And talking on some rather unfruitful topics.
Indeed.
What were we on again? Because we got on a really long and arduous tangent.
Oh, I know.
Right, it was games I'd like to see remakes of. Yours was Crash Bandicoot, right?
Yep.
I would say mine would probably be the Knights of the Old Republic game.
Never played it, but I was never a huge fan of BioWare games in the first place.
Yes, it is quite a good game. It has its flaw. I don't know why I healed. It has its flaws in gameplay and graphics because it's released on the original Xbox. But its story was most definitely top notch. I'd like to see that get a remake. Either that or maybe Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. I'd always kill for Chrono something remake. Personally, I always preferred Chrono Cross, but that's just me.
Well,
I know I'm probably the minority, but I always preferred the world.
Oh, I never played Chrono Cross. Still haven't finished Chrono Trigger yet because it's a really long game. But
You still have like the same wordless main character and his gaggle of unlikely heroes, but that's about it.
no, come on, walk. There we go. Fuck.
Ambushed by foul invention.
Wait, what? That was odd.
Early access.
And I can't move anymore. And I can't abandon the quest anymore.
Oh my.
This is the first time this has happened.
Well, perhaps we might end our record today due to technical difficulties.
Yeah, apparently, because this game just crapped out, or perhaps crapped out, or something, I don't know.
Alright, well.
This will be ending a bit early this time. Sorry about that, but yes, mostly us arguing about The Last of Us. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't have to scream at me about in the comments about how much of an informed douche I am about how your life was changed about the Last of Us story. Watched a guy's video on his analysis of that. Has basically his impression of how his life was royally enriched by it.
Yeah, I think I saw that too. I liked some of his breakdowns. I think he kind of went way overboard going on about how it made him want to have a daughter. It was like, no,
Yeah.
it was a good story. I thought it was well done. I don't know what your deal with it is, but I thought it was well done.
Yeah, that guy obviously had a few. He wasn't the sharpest knife in the crayon box.
Indeed. Well, suppose we ended it there.
Yep. Good night, viewers.